Are you a participant in life, or are you merely an observer of other people? I want to talk to you about how having a hobby can actually help you to be a participant in your own life. We're becoming a society that is more and more not getting involved, but being perfectly comfortable to observe others from the comfort of our own homes. We're behind the screens, we are constantly scrolling. Take a look at your own YouTube history. That'll give you an idea of some of the things that you might be passionate about. And yet, have you tried any of those things? A lot of the times the answer is no. You watch that video of some guy building from scratch in the woods a cabin that he could have a place where he could write, do his painting. And you thought, wow, that's interesting. I should do something like that. That guy took an interest that he had, really a hobby, and developed it. Why can't you do the same? There was a time where men had more interests and more hobbies outside of their vocation. For example, my father, who worked in the steel mill, would come home and he would tinker on an old car that he bought. It was often not running, it was towed to our driveway, and he would spend up to a year working on this car, getting parts from the junkyard or from salvage yards, and he would get the car working. That was his passion. That was his hobby. A lot of times, guys today don't. Up to 70% of us spend a lot of time gaming. I'm going to say that's not a hobby. Yes, for some people, it's probably more of a vocation, but I want to challenge you to develop something in your own life. So take a look at that scrolling history. What are you passionate about? And you can develop some of those things, turning it into a hobby. A great way to make a hobby more permanent is doing it in a group situation. So we'll talk to you 3 categories. The first category would be social hobbies. You have a passion for anything. For example, you like to run. You could join a run club. And the beauty of joining any type of club, whether it be a hiking club, a fishing club, whatever it is, you are with like-minded people, and they are going to motivate you to come back, to continue with that pursuit, to really help to cultivate that hobby. It's a great opportunity to meet people, both sexes. You can have an opportunity to chat with people who have that passion that you share. And there are so many categories you can do this in. There are so many group situations, whether it is taking an improv class or whether it's taking cooking classes or wine tasting, whatever it is. Really good basic place to start if you want to develop a hobby is taking a dance class. I took some dance classes when I was single. I took a ballroom dance class. You meet so many different people within the class. You actually switch off partners all night long. I met a ton of people. I actually developed skills that then I could take to a club or I could take to the wedding and wow the guest. And I have to tell you, the women that I know love men who can dance, this one in particular. So group situations are the perfect place to do that. But not all hobbies are group situation or social based. Some of them are more internal. It's not to say that that initial class can't be in a group situation, but a lot of these things can be done on a more myself basis. I call these personal development, and a lot of them stem from the arts. For example, you have an interest in drawing. Why not get the supplies and actually draw? Of course, you could take a class, but you can also get a lot of invaluable instruction on YouTube. You're getting instruction here. You're getting instruction when you watch Beardbrand on hair and grooming techniques, whether that be drawing, painting, pottery, voice, learning an instrument. I see used guitars all the time at consignment shops, thrift shops. Picking up a guitar and going to Mr. YouTube for lessons is a great way to cultivate that interest in that particular instrument, developing that skill set and turning it into a real hobby of passion.
I'm the best.
Great pleasure watching you work.
Whatever it is you like to do, you can take woodworking, furniture making, metalwork, stained glass, Viking weaving. You could just be tinkering on a car, just like my dad. So back to the language. You could take a language in a group situation. There are so many apps right now out there when you can learn a language. Say you want to learn the language of your parents' mother tongue because you have a passion about that area of the world. You could learn a language and you can end up traveling. So hobbies can be something that can be personal for you, but also a hobby like learning a language can be used to other people and actually facilitate travel around the world. There are so many things you can do that are like that in learning hobbies. Reading has become much more popular as a hobby, with people, in a way, turning away from the screen sometime and picking up a book. I read that Barnes & Nobles is reopening some of their bookstores and that book sales are up in general. So go ahead, pick up a volume and start reading as a hobby. And this is just a partial list. There are so many things that you can turn into a hobby. One of the most important might be, what is a physical hobby that you can have? Of course, I mentioned clubs up above for running or hiking or a number of sports, rec sports in particular. But a lot of these things can be done one-on-one, where you really concentrate on personal development. That also involves developing your physical abilities concerning that hobby. A lot of times guys will have hobbies that are physical based, really around sports when they were in high school and college, and they tend to go away. I think that's when we find the affinity to the sofa and are often tired when we come home from work and want to chill in front of the TV. We are wasting a lot of time by doing that. I want to encourage you to take some of those passions for physical activity that you had when you were in high school and college and really apply them, whether that be a particular sport, say fencing or like rock climbing up above, as I said before, or whatever it is, taking those physical kind of activities and actually pursuing them, making them your current passion. A lot of times guys will live in the past, thinking about things that they did that they were passionate about when they were in high school and college, and they leave them there. I want to encourage you to pick those things up. That might be a good place to look for hobbies in general. What were you passionate about in the past? What social hobby were you passionate about in the past? What self-development hobby were you passionate about? And what physical hobby were you passionate about? I want you to stop watching other people do things that you can perfectly do yourself and challenge you to develop a new hobby, especially at this time of the year.